So that was a really interesting conversation. Welcome back to the Brian Crombie Radio Hour, chatting about housing and the housing crisis that we've got in the Greater Toronto Area and Ontario right now. And this Toronto Business Summit that occurred 2 weeks ago, and this panel, I understand, was really quite interesting and quite critical of both our municipal and provincial governments in regards to what we aren't doing in regards to housing. I think lots of us have read the front pages of the newspapers, both the regular sections, the real estate sections, as well as the business sections, and they've all been talking about how there's this condo crash and how the single family market is flat or potentially down. And so therefore not a lot of activity is happening at the same time as you've got this situation where immigration, um, young people that want to buy homes, et cetera, that demand is so huge, and yet the housing affordability is just not there. And a report came out this past week that showed that people are leaving Toronto, Peel region, York region, et cetera. So people are voting with their feet and leaving town because it's just too expensive and there's not places available and we're not building enough. So what's happened? I think that based on the conversation we've just had tonight, the governments have priced us out of the market with development fees, with taxes, and with red tape and regulation that means that it takes 7 years or so to get a development approved. It's basic economics 101. What they've done is they've jacked up the cost of housing, not because of construction costs, which were high and have now come off, or labor costs, or even interest rates, by red tape, by regulation, and by development fees and taxes. And if they do that as a way of trying to extract value from the process, all they're going to do is increase the cost so much that demand's going to go down dramatically, and they'll actually make less money, which is the typical problem in a capitalist society of a business person. When they price it too high, they actually find out they make less money. Because the volumes go down so dramatically. And I think that's what government's going to find, is that they've actually shot themselves in the foot by jacking up these development fees so high. And I think, when we talked about in this session that taxes and development fees are 30% of the development, and the governments get their money up front as soon as the building permit is issued, and or when construction takes place on the taxes. And the developer's got to wait to the end, and he's only getting 15%. And he's putting up all the capital and doing all the risk. I think that says something. So I think that people have really got to think this through and frankly get upset and say, government, you're the problem here. You haven't solved a thing. You keep on talking. But until development fees go down, if not get eliminated for a certain level of affordability, which I think makes a ton of sense, say up to $500,000 or $400,000 of value, maybe no development fees, and only development fees above that, and less than it has been in the past. And then the taxes come down. The rental, purpose-built rental was helped dramatically when the federal government took off the GST on the construction costs of building purpose-built rental. Why not condos? Why not townhomes? Why not, single family homes? I think that, and why not the provincial government? I think taxes have got to come down, development fees got to come down. And why have it take 5 or 7 years to get it approved? Twice as long to get it approved as it does to actually build it. Makes no sense. It's a cost on the development that gets passed on to the consumer that is completely unjustified, unwarranted, and too expensive in today's marketplace. You can still do approvals and reviews, which I think should be shortened, but do them more quickly. Anyway, that's my final 2 cents on today's conversation about the housing crisis and how we solve it. Right now, what we got to do is we got to cut back government. Bottom line, less government in housing would be far, far better. I remind you, I'm on every Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock on 960 AM. You can stream me online at www.saga960am.ca. All my podcasts and videos are available on social media, on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and on numerous different podcast servers. Thanks. Have a great night, everybody.